So today is the lecture number 18 of the deep learning course, and we will continue our discussion for the image processing where we left into the last class. What we have understood that if there is an image and it is a pixel-wise representation, if we want to see, you can represent it as a function, and therefore for the computer system, it is very difficult to understand that what is over there. We have to develop some methods that can actually do some kind of thing so that proper understanding can be obtained. As we have seen that even if you add something to the original values of the pixel, it is not going to change. But however, in terms of the image, it has changed. But in terms of the understanding, logical understanding of this thing, it remains the same. We have also seen that various kinds of point operation can be done. Means if you just pick a particular value and apply some function, so some kind of point operations you can apply, such that darkening, lightening, and compressing the dark portion or the light portion, emphasizing some other thing, increasing contrast. All these things you can do. We have also seen that if there is a very important notion that what is the profile of a particular of an image by using the histogram. If you count that how many pixels are having a particular value, and you plot them, mostly you will be getting some kind of this kind of diagram. And this diagram we have in the last class seen that it is called the histogram. Histogram most of the time actually most of the time when you take the images, all the pixel values are not available, and our visual system is actually designed in such a way so that if all the things are there, then only the things would be better visible. So if you get somewhere if you get something, for example, the histogram is only into this particular portion, so it is not that useful, because if you can increase its visibility if you extend this particular portion. This particular task is called the histogram equalization, and there are various methods of this. In the last class we have seen that let's assume that there is an image and this is the histogram, and we use this kind of ramp to modify, means enhance the contrast at this particular region. You would be able to get this image, which is much better than the previous image, and that's why it is a better visualization and provide more details about the image. Similarly, this you hardly can see that what is there inside this particular image, but if you realize that what is the histogram, this histogram is like this. Histogram equalization, the process of histogram equalization can change the scenario to this particular thing. If you do the histogram equalization, just neglecting these extreme values and do a histogram equalization, you will be getting this. And if you plot this particular image, this is this image. You can see that very clear difference between these two images, and this is one of the wonderful images that you can find out using this kind of setting. In the last class also we have discussed that looks like that the histogram is a very well representation, a very good representation of an image. So why not, if there are two images, can we use this representation to match these two images? Or very highly, can we use this as a feature? Looks like that it can be done. But now I am going to give you another feature, another image where this particular zebra image has been actually randomized. Means all the pixels are actually randomized. This pixel, I don't know, somewhere else it has been sent. This pixel somewhere else has been sent, and by this you get this image. They are not same, and it is an extreme condition where you see that it is actually not making any sense. However, if you, for example, if you cut some of the stripes and you change the stripes from here to here, so this kind of operation can also be done. For this half, you replace this half with this half, then also the scene and everything get lost. But however, the representation is going to be the same. So looks like that this is not a right representation for having the image. So what is the right representation? Maybe we need some more local operators, means local things, we need some information. So keep this into the mind that when we want to do some kind of processing, we need some kind of local operations. Okay. So we have seen that whenever there is some scene and you are going to deploy a camera and you are going to obtain the signals out of that. So the pixel, if you just see one pixel location, you know that there is there must be some kind of there must be some kind of noise into the system, and mostly the noise would be Gaussian distributed. So when the value was this, you get this value. Okay, you got some change into that particular value. So this kind of mostly means even if the value is this, you are going to get something else. So what would happen that ultimately whatever you are going to obtain is actually not going to be the smooth, and it is very, very into the bad shape. Okay. So there is one idea that says that if you, for example, and you also know that if something is zero centered, so if you take average of sufficient number of items, then definitely this is going to lost. Okay, this error is going to going to be compensated and lost. So if we want to compensate for the error, so what we can do with this kind of noise, yes, what we can do, we can take the average of few quantities. So this is a kind of mask that we have seen in the last class, that if we can utilize somewhere 111, all other places 0 means what? I'm going to find out the summation of these quantity and then I get the value. So the value that I'm going to get is going to be more stabilized than the previous one. And this is an example where this was the earlier value and now this is the next value. So you can see that, okay, looks like that here the things are more smooth, looks like that actually they are representing the natural phenomena. However, sometimes you think that the very near observations are going maybe given more weight, and by this you can say that this particular observation may be given the higher value as compared to this particular value and other values. So you can apply a weighting factor that I can say that as a h function over here. So all the values which are there with respect to, I'm going to multiply with the h. H means this weight matrix. And then the new matrix, the new value that you are going to get, you can represent by this. This is a very important function. Most of the time, many of the time, we are going to see into this particular course now onwards. So when I represent this thing means what? That you are going to apply some kind of kernel and locally you are going to multiply and find out the appropriate value. We have seen in the last class that if this is an image, and in this image, if you pick, how can you describe this image? We have seen that one possible description could be that looks like that there is a wall, and in between there is some hole, and you can see through that particular hole. So this seems to be a lighting position where there is light, and otherwise there is a wall. You are sitting in one side of the wall. If somebody says that here also the value is 0, it makes no sense. Okay. Here also there is a value 90. It also doesn't make sense. So why it is happening? Because of some error. Maybe into the acquisition system there could be some error. How can we compensate this? Again, the same kind of mechanism. If you apply this kind of again smoothing on your system, so maybe some filter and you apply some filter over here, and to find out this value, you find out the average of these values and put it at this particular place. So what would happen? You get this kind of representation, and if I want to ask that what should be the value, you see that 000 divided by 9, it becomes very small value. So that is fine. Means in terms of the understanding, this image is fine. No, not much problem. So this operation is called the convolution operation, and we have also in the last class developed the understanding that let's assume that there is some monkey, for example, there is some object or monkey, anything is sitting over there, and we have implied, let's assume that we have implied a and we have applied a kind of camera over there. So I'm getting echo now. Okay, I don't know from here where it is picking my voice. Yeah. Okay, no problem. So what I was telling that we under our understanding is this, that the actual monkey is here. So let's assume that this is what the image is, and we have actually acquired using some kind of camera. And few minutes back we have talked that we have to apply some kind of smoothing mechanism to find out the better image. Do you have the problem in listening? You can come in front. Yeah. Okay. So so when you apply this kind of smoothing operation, what is going to happen? The image actually, whatever in your computer system or whatever capture you are going to have this image. So if this is the actual thing that is there, you are actually going to get this, because you have applied a kind of smoothing to make the things better. So this is the image that you are going to get. So this is not a good image. Okay. So there is one more idea that I wanted to give. There is most of the time, for example, as I also talked to you, that instead of using the everywhere 1 1 1 1 and all other 0, you can use some Gaussian kernel over there. So the formula of Gaussian kernel, you know that x square plus y square divided by 2 mu square. There is also a term for mu, but let's assume that mu is centered at 0. So this is the Gaussian formula that we have. So for every pixel location, if you have a location, you can write that. Let's assume this is a 0, 0 location, this is 1, 0 location. You can find out what is the location, and based on the location, we can put into this particular formula and come up that a kind of filter. Use this filter to multiply to the image. So again, we can use the different sizes of the filters. Different sizes means whether we want to use this size or a smaller size. What size of filter we want to use? 3x3, 5x5, 7x7. So in this example, this is a kernel, and let's assume, do a test that. Let's assume that this is the original thing I have applied when I applied the 111 means averaging filter, that is also called the box filter. This you are going to get. But if we apply this kind of Gaussian filtering over there, then we get this kind of image. Can you compare both of these images and tell that which is better? Looks like that the Gaussian one is better. Right? Gaussian one is better. Okay, so so it is better to use this Gaussian kernel. Okay, this comes to now. Our understanding is that when I am going to apply the kernel, I should apply the Gaussian one. Okay, all right. This particular kind of operation where I have a small filter and I'm going to multiply to the complete image is called. It has a very important technical name that is called the convolution. And we have also seen that if, let's assume that this is what the filter is, and if we apply the filter over at various locus, various different locations, and we create another image where I'm going to write the responses, the place where this particular thing is appearing would have the highest value. Okay, so it is a kind of, you can think that if you want to search for something, that it provides the maximum response at that particular location. Okay, so the image is taken from this particular source. So also we have seen in the last class that there is a very interesting notion that is called the Fourier transform. What is the Fourier transform? Very interesting idea that if you have a signal, Fourier transform says that if you have a signal, okay, if you have a signal, hold on, periodic signal. If you have a periodic signal, means after some time it is going to repeat itself. Okay, so so this, for this particular duration, the signal is given. Let's assume that signal is not periodic, and only for this particular duration you observe the signal. So you can extend this notion that places where observation has not been provided is going to repeat. So with this kind of understanding, we can think that all the signals are actually periodic. And then this Fourier transform is a method that says that all these signals are I can represent them as a summation of various sine and cos term. So you know that sine and cos are very simple function with a different kind of attributes and different kind of phase. So this is a time domain representation where inside there was time and another side there was amplitude. I am going to represent this on the one side frequency, another side what is amplitude. So if there are 10 components in a signal, so just assume that there was only in this particular duration there was only one sine wave. So you will be getting one line over here. Very simple representation. You need not to represent everything to the infinite time. Only one line is sufficient. If it is a complex one, so you use multiple of them, two things, 4 things. So definitely you will be getting something like that. Means what are the frequencies and what is their amplitude? You are going to represent this. So this is called the frequency domain representation of a signal. And surprisingly, any signal, okay, every signal. If you have any kind of signal that you can represent using sine and cos, and therefore every signal has a sine and cos representation. This representation, importance of this representation is this, that for example, if this is an image, just consider that this is an image, original image. You find out that what is a Fourier transform, and you come up with some kind of filters. What is a filter? We will talk about later. So let's assume that you have a filter. Filter also has a Fourier transform. You can multiply into the frequency domain, find out the changes, and then you can find out the inverse of that particular signal, and you can get something that is another representation of the same thing. So this is an image, and this is another representation of the same thing. You may be thinking, sir, this is bad one. This is a good image. Why I am going to make this image? So fine, but actually, when we want to understand that where is the object, recall that we have talked about a very important experiment. That was that there was a cat, and we wanted to understand that when the cat is going to excite. So what was the thing we have did? we put a screen, and in front of the screen I was putting the image of mouse over there and try to understand. Some electrode were put into the head of this particular cat, and we actually, when I show her the mouse, she was not activated. When I show him milk, she was not activated. When I show him rose, it was not activated. But when his neuron were activated at the time when we were changing the thing, means we want to see the changes. Where are the changes? So we are not at all interested. Our visual system is not at all interested into the actual object. He want to see where are the boundaries, where the corner point, where are the important information that we can utilize, because ultimately he also had to do some kind of summarization over the visual information. So maybe this representation is a better summarization of the whatever is at the top. And if it is a better representation, definitely we can develop a system around that. So the overall idea is this, that using Fourier transform, sometimes we can find out very interesting things. And let me give you one more idea. So you know that into most of the time when you have a signal, you want to transmit it. But how can you transmit it? Using some kind of channel. But the channel cannot transfer if something have very less frequency. For example, you know now what is the frequency? This is a frequency. In 1 second, how many times I am taking this? If I'm taking this so low, what is going to happen? Nothing is going to be transmitted. For example, even you cannot visualize if I do it very, very slowly. Okay, it means that if the frequency is very low, I cannot transmit. If frequency is very high, I see, you'll be seeing that everywhere the item is there. Okay, then again you cannot transfer the thing. So high frequencies are also not important. Low frequencies are also not important. Only what is important into a band. We have to somehow find out that what is the right band in which we are going to consider the thing. So ultimately, what do I mean by this? That even if this signal is going to represent many things, only few things are important for us which are going inside. And that we can utilize by utilizing a filter. We can remove those parts which are actually unnecessary for us. This is another representation, another way of understanding. Next thing that I wanted to discuss is the sampling. Most of the time what happens that if a large image is given to you and I want to understand that what is there. So it is a large image. How can you process that? Ultimately, you want to tell that whether there is a cat or dog. Even how does it matter that if you process the complete image or partial image or whatever? So what is suitable for your processing requirement? You should go ahead by that particular logic. So it is a good idea that if a big processing requirement is there, somehow we reduce the processing requirement. Can we reduce the size of image? Because if the cat is here, cat would also be here. Can we somehow reduce this thing? The idea is the sampling, and most of the time in various domains this is being used. And what is sampling? That, for example, every third pixel I'm going to pick. Okay, every third pixel into row and column I'm going to pick, and I'm going to make this image. So both the images have the same representation in terms of the visual representation, and you can by yourself can understand this. Okay. However, this is a good idea. Actually, most of the time we do it. Okay. And this is an idea that we mostly do. But if you have, for example, if you have a RGB image, okay, RGB image, okay, the image having 3 channels, and if you want to do the processing, the idea is most of the time people use and nearly all the cases people use that they convert it to the grayscale. Okay, so by converting it grayscale, 3 becomes 1. Okay, even if this image is of the larger size, then every dimension you can reduce by 10th pixel, then the size becomes 1/100, 10 by 10. And in one direction you are reducing 10, another direction reducing 10, it becomes 1/100. Then you can do the processing and get the result quickly. Very important technique. If somebody is going to give you a large image, the first thing you should do to change the size. Understand? However, there is some problems when we do the sampling, and how to come up with how to avoid those problems is actually difficult to tell upfront, because you have to involve into the problem to understand that what may happen. For example, here you can see that here what is the signal? This is a sine wave. Okay, you know that there is some amplitude. This is what the amplitude is, and there is some frequency. You can count that for example, in this particular duration, how many times it is changing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's assume that this is 1 second duration. So what is the frequency? Frequency is 7. All right. But if we do the sampling, for example, I'm going to do the sample at this particular time, at this particular time, at this particular time, at this particular time. So what I'm going to get, that this is the value, 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 and this is the value. If you connect them, because now your observation are this. So if you connect this, that how the signal was going, the signal was going like this. It is a different signal. It is not the same signal. Okay. So there is a problem. So this kind of thing is called, it is something related to aliasing, and this is a very common phenomena. You may have seen that when there is some TV anchor speaking something, sometimes his shirt, for example, has very clear close lines, and you see that there could be a funny strips coming out of his shirt. You may have seen that when there is a movie and there is a car moving, and you see that the car is moving in this direction, but wheels are rotating into the another direction. Why it is happening? This is only happening because of this aliasing. Okay. Very interesting thing that today I want to tell you here. Can you tell me that who this lady is? Who is into the image? Einstein. Okay, very good. See closer. Who is he? Monroe, Marilyn Monroe. There is a very interesting. She is also a very good actress in Hollywood. She is Marilyn Monroe, and you are telling Einstein. What is happening with you? Okay. You see, how come it is happening? Let me tell you this. Hey, I have a question. Please tell me that what I'm writing on the screen. Can anybody tell? Can you type what I have written? Can anybody tell what I have written? Can you type? The students who are actually visiting. Yeah, 2. So every time I'm going to write, can you write that what I'm writing? What I'm writing? What I'm writing? What I'm writing? 2. What I'm writing? Where I have written the 1. So if you see the things from the different perspective, at the different scale, things become different. Very important part of the computer vision system, that if you see the things from a very different location, so why you were able to see this 2 at this particular time? Because when I have done a zooming, at that time this becomes your scale. Okay. So in an image, if for example, as I told you that there are few high frequency component and low frequency component. When the screen, for example, given the image, as I told you that given the image, you can find out that what are the image components. Okay. So if I keep these components only, this is the low frequency component. These are the high frequency component. If I take another image and also I find out that high frequency and low frequency component, and I create a third image. Okay, let me draw by this. This is one component, and into this image, these are the 2 parts. Okay, if I create another image having this particular thing, for example, okay, where this say red portion is there, and also the green portion from the other image. Okay, so what would happen? This image would have these kind of effects, that if you are seeing from very far, you are going to see a different image. You are going from seeing the things from near, you are going to have the different effect. Understand? Another example. So can you tell that these ladies are happy or sad? These ladies are happy or sad? Sad or happy? Nobody is writing. Happy. They are, yeah, they are happy. They are neutral. They are sad. Can you see? They are sad. Happy becomes sad. Sad becomes happy. Anything you can do. So there are multiple things that you can do these kind of by combining these kind of different components, different frequency components into one image. You can do these kind of things. Another important application could be that when you are going on the highway, there is some billboard coming. So from very distance, it is going to give you some other thing that please reduce your speed. And when you reach over that point, now it is over. You can again start speeding. For example, most probably that you can read this text. Okay, I also have to see. But can you read this? What is written over there? Now? Okay. So why it is happening? Because different frequency component items are actually mixed over here. You have to see that what is the right frequency component for me. Now I'm going to give you another very interesting idea. What is a linear filtering? So a few minutes back we have talked about that we have let's assume that this is an image and I have a filter. If I multiply this image with this particular filter, what is going to happen? That is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, same value I am going to get, same image I am going to get. But if I put this 1 over here, all other places 0, what is going to happen? The image is going to shift because whatever value is here, it is going to come at this particular place. So image is going to be shifted. All these pixels are going to be shifted. So this you can see that there is one stripe. All the things are shifted. Make sense? If I do a box filtering, averaging with the 1/9, I'm going to get something blurred. Ye pata hai. All these things we have done. Okay. If I subtract, for example, original image, I multiply by 2, same value has been increased, and if I subtract something from that, and that is the box filtering, whatever the box filtering are going to get that, I'm going to subtract that thing from this image, I get this image. Now I have a question, whether this image is good or this image is good. Okay. The new image that we got is brighter. It is better. Okay, makes sense. This is better. So this is called sharpening filter. This is called the sharpening filter. Why sharpening is happening? What is the effect of? How come this? What is the meaning of this particular filter? Why it has done this? So if this particular filter is being applied on this image, that is again Einstein. I don't know that what is right. So you got this image. So can you tell me that A and B, which is better image? B is a better image because you can see that it is more sharper. So this is called the sharpening filter. Let me tell you that why it is happening. Before that, I want to give you one more understanding so that things become easy for me to give you the understanding. So what I did, that I picked this particular image. Okay. Once again, this particular thing is going to act as a low pass filter. A few minutes back we had talked about this. Let me explain you that how. You know that by this we created this kind of filter. Okay, because if you put the various value of x, y, and you get some value, and I'm going to put this value. So this is what my filter is. This is the original image. If I apply a filter of the size 1, I get the same thing because same thing there. Okay. But the size is 5 filter is 5 by 5. If filter is of 5 by 5, I get this image. 10 by 10, I get this thing. 30 by 30, I get this thing. What is this? What is the difference between these things? 30 by 30, what you can see? Nothing. Hold on. You can see something, but you are telling nothing. Can you tell me that what you can see? ध्यान से देखो. We can see some. No, forget about the colors. We can see something. Some object is there. Looks like I'm not able to recognize that whether he's owl or not. Definitely he's not owl. But it looks like that there is something, because in this image something of this particular size is there. Are you sure? So 30 size, it should be of the 30 size. I'm going to focus on only those items which have the size of 30. If something is below than 30 size, for example, his eyes, nose, etc., they are filtered. They are removed. If we apply this, it is low pass filter. Low things are actually they are suppressed. Am I right? So with the 30 size pixel, you can see only this thing. With the 10 size pixel, maybe you can something you can make sense of something is going to happen over here. 5 size thing, you can think that these things are more visible. 1 pixel thing, you can see everything is visible. Filter says that at what level you are interested. It gives you the things which are of that particular size. Very important thing I'm telling you. Sometime in your architecture, if you are putting the filters of a different size, you should understand that why I'm putting this filter size. What does it mean? I am focusing the item of that particular size, and output is not going to show you anything which has a thing below that thing. Higher things are only going to be present into the later stages. Correct. But I think I understand this problem. But what I wanted to tell right now is this, that filter size focuses you that this is a size of the object I'm looking for. This makes sense? So this is something that I was looking for. This is the importance of the filter. Now let me again give you the image. This is an original image. I have applied 5x5 filter on that. So you can see that maybe some I don't know, that somewhere there will be smoothing, the figure becomes bad. Very popular image called the Lena. Okay. So if you subtract this image from this image, what you get? Let's assume that I have applied something of 5x5. So what is removed? 5x5. Anything lesser than the 5x5 has been removed. Are you able to understand? So if I applied the filtering, as I told you a few minutes back, if I applied the filtering of 5x5, anything is of the size 4x4 has gone. If I find out the difference, so what I would get? The thing said that has gone. What has gone? This is gone. Can I see this? What is this? This is the details which were there, because 4x5 means detail. 4x4 means these are the small details. It's not the overall thing. Overall thing is of the bigger size. These are the details which are inside the image. So if I subtract this, I get the details. So what would happen if I add this thing into the original image by multiplying something with the alpha? So this was the original image. I use this thing and add it over here. If I add it, what would happen? Can you tell me? Image would become better. So this is why it is the image become more enhanced and sharpened. Make sense? All right. So there is very interesting idea that actually try to find out that what are the places where there is an edges, because most of the time you want to work on the edges. So the idea is this, that if there is an image, for example, if there is an image, and if there is an image, all these values are say 1, all these values are 1, all these values are 0. So you can think that there is, if I give you very simple image, everywhere, so pardon me for being such a bad writer. So this is a very good quality of the good teacher, that they write like this. So one day I would also be a good teacher. Okay. So today I have improved one more step. Okay, I have taken one step. I have drawn this image with more clarity. It takes too much time to draw. What I can do? Okay, let's assume that this is the image. Can you visualize this image? There is somewhere there is brightness and otherwise there is dark. Now I have a filter. I have a filter. If I have a filter like this, which has 0, नो नो, अरे तो गड़बड़ हो गया। बड़ा ही प्रॉब्लम है भाई। Okay, let me make this thing and let me write like this, that it is 1 1 1 0, no no, गड़बड़ किया मैंने, 0 0 0 -1 -1 -1. Now what would happen? Just assume what would happen. Let me change the pen color. Okay. If I put it here, what would happen? But these values are multiplied by 0, no effect. These values are multiplied by 1, no effect. All these are 0. Multiplied by -1, all these 0. So the value would be 0. Everywhere there would be 0. If I put it here, what would happen? These values are multiplied by 1, they are -1. Summation is same, and multiplied by 0. Again, it is everywhere 0. So all these values, what would happen? They become 0. All these values become 0. But if I put it here, what would happen? One side there is 0, another side there is 1. So it will become -3. -3 means that any value. Then we can do the normalization, we can find out some value. So the effect of this particular filter is going to be that I am going to get the line into this particular direction. Consider the another filter where the value is 1 1 1 -1 -1 -1 0 0 0. What would happen? If any image that have all the ones over here and zeros over here, so it would find out that this is the place where there is an edge. If the edge is slanted, so definitely those points are actually highlighted. So we are actually talking about the first derivative method. So if you apply the second derivative methods, though, so the same thing comes out to be by this, that 1 2 1 -1 -2 -1. So similar, same operation. But if you want to find out, for example, this is going to give you the which are vertical edges, and this is going to give you the horizontal edges. So you apply these filters on your image. One image becomes two images. One image you have, it gives you two images. By applying this, you get image 1. By applying this, you get image 2. Then using the value at a particular pixel location, you again create another image, that is image number 3, where the values are going to be sx square, sy square divided by, let me say that this is as ix, iy. So ix, iy square under root. By this, you can find out that what is the value. The places where there would be a high value means that there are edges. This is an image. Okay. So sometimes you can do one more thing, that if the value is greater than this thing, you say that there is exists there is, otherwise does not exist there is. Okay. And if you want to find out that on that particular pixel, what is the direction of that particular edge, also you can find out tan inverse using sy upon sx. A small example where this was an image and we had applied the sx and sy. Sx gives you this, sy gives you this. When you combine both things and see that what are the places where there is high value, you get this pixel thing. So by this you can do the edge detection. Very important thing. Okay. So that's all for today.